Hey friends, it's Tony with Lendcraft Team Realtors. I hope you're doing well today. And as you can tell, I've got my Christmas cheer on. I was talking with some friends recently and I watched a podcast regarding consumer sentiment. And I thought I would take a quick moment just to walk you through a little bit of what's going on and also hopefully to add some Christmas cheer to all the buyers and sellers out there. So let's go through this real quick and bear with me as we go through. But there was a recent survey done by LendingTree of over 2,000 individuals in America. And what's crazy is that 41%, nearly 4 out of every 10 people interviewed, thought that the housing market was likely to crash in the next 12 months. What's even crazier than that is of that 41%, 72% thought the market crash would be as bad or worse than the 2008 housing recession. And what is all that fear doing? That's creating 58% of those respondents to pause on their search for a home, their quest to right size, or their desire or need to sell a home. And I'm here to dismay or deflect or explain or talk through some of those assumptions that build into this survey. And I'd love to talk with anyone who has questions or would like to brainstorm. So let's decipher this a little bit. And what's curious, when you look at the respondent segmentation, the highest level of fear is in the millennials. And to me, that makes sense because they may or may not have ever been homeowners, and they likely grew up in their adolescent in early 20s during the housing recession, which that 2008 to 2010 period was absolutely painful, disastrous, and life-changing for a lot of folks. And that is sad for sure. The Gen Xers, which is my category, is also highly risk adverse or fearful of a crash. And let's go through and dismay or talk through what's causing that. Well, the contributors that led to the survey respondents' belief was inflation, 33%. Well, what's curious is inflation does not correlate to a decrease in real estate values. It does, however, signify on occasion, and we are living through it right now, rising interest rates. And rising interest rates do certainly have a dampening effect on home price appreciation and can affect buyer sentiment for sure. At a current 30-year fixed rate of about 6.2%, on a historical average, that's actually a very affordable price point. And the one thing that's really important to remember when it comes to interest rates in houses is that when you have a home, you can take advantage of lower rates and refinance, but if you don't own a home, you cannot. So what's really curious is if we go into a recession, 2 out of the last 6 recessions had negative price appreciation or price or decline in values. And the only one that was significant, it was nearly 20%, was that 2008. The other one was about 1.9%, which is not that meaningful in the grand scheme of things. So let's compare 2008 downturn to the current housing cycle. And being 57 years old almost and being in real estate over 35 years, I've lived through a lot of cycles. I've been in real estate my entire life and in my entire professional career. What's different from the 2005 to 2010 period was there was about $8 million, let me rephrase that, sorry. And I promise I haven't hit the eggnog yet. There's been 8 million job losses during that period of time. So far, fingers crossed, job loss is really not significant at all. There are some announcements, but announcements are different from actual layoffs. The next thing was talking through the household survey of where subprime loans were, new construction activity, and inventory on the market. So if you look at subprime loans, there's virtually no subprime loans. Subprime loans means borrowers who really have severe credit issues and credit histories. Lenders have been very disciplined over the last, I don't know, 11, 12 years since the downturn and remain so. So the level of loans out there where borrowers are having trouble at the outset is very low. New construction activity. 5 years prior to the last downturn, there were nearly 8 million homes built. In the last 5 years, it's been about 4.6 million. And this information is coming from the National Association of Realtors. Inventory. Inventory is the big issue. And I can tell you in the triangle market, our inventory has returned to more normalized levels from severely or significantly low levels through second half of 2020, all of 2021, and the first couple months of 2022. Going into the last housing crash, there were about 4 million homes in inventory. That's a very large amount compared to the standing inventory today of somewhere around 1 million. And then let's talk through mortgage delinquencies. Mortgage delinquencies mean borrowers that are in trouble, but not necessarily yet a foreclosure. And if you look at the foreclosure rate, we're running at less than 1%. It's certainly up from where it has been historically, but there was also a moratorium. On a historic level, we're very low on foreclosures and low on delinquencies. This is what the primary forecasters for home values are anticipating in 2023. And if you look at the average of them, it's about 0.3%. So that means rather stable values for homes. That's a good market for buyers and a good market for sellers. It's certainly different from the rapid price appreciation that occurred. And I can tell you in the local market, we're experiencing the same. Home values are holding. The ability to push pricing has really plateaued. My next slide talks a little bit about that foreclosure rate. And if you see in that 2008, 2009 period here, you see a massive level of foreclosure activity. If you look to where we are now, 88,000, will likely end the year somewhere around 125,000. This information is coming from the New York Federal Reserve. And then let's show what's causing this. This is January of this year. This is last week. And you see a massive growth. The rate of acceleration in mortgage rates is what really caused the market to pause and slow in the June, July, August, September period. Now in October, both because buyers have adjusted their expectations to the new paradigm on rates, and we've also experienced a slight decline, almost 1% in rates over the last few weeks. The buyer activity is beginning to pick up. So that's a good sign for both buyers and a good sign for sellers. And then the last slide I'm going to show you is where we are on that chart. And I'll go back one if I can. Let me go back one. It's interesting when people talk about mortgage rates, they say they go up like an elevator and they come down like stair steps, and you're seeing that happen. So I hope that puts some holiday cheer back in your Christmas stocking. And it's always great to talk with a professional. If you have a housing need, if you have a housing concern, any real estate professional is willing to talk with you and share their knowledge, experience, and help you understand with respect to your own family's situation. And of course, whenever it's real estate, always think Fink at Lindecraft Team Realtors. It's my pleasure to assist you. I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.